We're here at Mammoth Hot Springs. Man from here, his eye and his nose and his grumpy face. This is called the Liberty Cap. This is the closest location to our place in Gardiner. Probably about a 10-minute drive. I think we're getting here about 8:30 and there's a lot of people here already. We got the last spot in the parking lot pretty much.
Yeah.
Hot Mammoth Springs is 18 minutes from Gardiner, Montana, which is also the location of the northern entrance to Yellowstone. Fort Yellowstone is a 3-minute drive from Hot Mammoth Springs, so it's a good idea to do both of these things at the same time. This video is full of did you knows. We certainly got an education at Hot Mammoth Springs and Fort Yellowstone. It's the result of hot spring water moving through the rock and forming into white sedimentary limestone. It took thousands of years for these terraces to form.
Back and forth. You can see, where it's orange and yellowy, that's where the water is currently flowing. Where it's brilliant white, that's where it stopped flowing more recently, and the bacteria now has died completely. And then where you see it starting to turn gray, or when it becomes a dark gray and even crumbled and everything, that's when it hasn't had water there in a long time.
We're gonna climb clear up there. It's only 3 miles. 3-mile loop. So now we're gonna start hitting the steps.
1,000 years old, huh?
Those trees were buried by the hot spring water.
Or the calcium carbonate.
It hardened their veins.
It makes a pool and it builds up, and then it runs over. Builds up on the edges. That's what makes the stair step effect. It builds up on the edges, makes a rim around it so the water pools in there for a while and creates a larger surface area. That's why there's stair steps compared to the roundness.
Okay. Over here, look at this. That looks pretty cool.
So whether we go back this way or go back this way.
That's most of the water coming out there.
We're going to walk up there.
More over to the right here.
Around.
And so how it's just running over this. That's why it has that mushroom look.
Smooth.
It's not pooling yet. It's just running over the rock. And it looks like this is part of that's the yellow, which means it's been dry for a while. Or actually the white means it's been dry for a while.
Yeah.
And this might be coming back. This might, came back.
Because we see some white in it.
And the
Yeah.
edges over here, they dried up.
Yeah.
And this is a large example of creating the terrace that has a pool inside, but building up at the edges, almost like a dam effect. I don't think it smells that bad either. That, or we're used to it.
Yeah, I don't think it's as strong.
No rest for the wicked, Bob. You guys can rest.
You can now smell the sulfur up here.
Are those bison tracks we see?
Bison or elk, one of the two.
What would they come up here for?
They're just moving through.
Moving somewhere through?
Yeah,
Okay.
from A to B, and
Okay.
just happen to be on the way. And
Okay.
to a certain degree, the animals are a bit curious with them.
Okay.
To a degree, I actually saw some unusual behavior. See the dry, chalky buildup
Yep.
like that. Well, Pallet Spring
Yeah,
down
down
here.
there. Yep.
They were on top of those terraces, rubbing their heads, scratching
Wow.
on them, and sort of kicking a little bit. It was like, and they'd kick up it's real soft. This is chalk,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, calcium carbonate, and they were kicking it up a little bit. And one had a white stripe on her forehead, from scratching on it and stuff. Some people claim that they come here to get away from the bugs, and it's like,
Oh, okay.
we don't have that many bugs
Yeah.
that they have to get away from it, except that when they get in the trees in a swampy area, obviously. But,
Do they know better to drink the
No.
water?
Oh, they drink it. I've
Oh,
seen
they
them
do
drink
drink it. Okay.
And they fall in and die, and
Okay.
not here die so much as get scalded. Down at Old Faithful, it's hot enough to really
Yeah.
kill them.
We think-
140 degrees,
Yeah.
200 degrees.
Okay.
It'll burn you. It burns them real good. I've seen them get scalded.
Yeah. I think I saw a dead elk that was almost turned the color of the white.
Oh.
I think it was. I mean,
Was it near a geyser basin?
Yeah,
or?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
at Old Faithful when we were walking around the whole thing.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
It looked like a dead
I
elk.
heard of a carcass over there, and
Yeah.
a lot of times they have to, if they can't move that carcass, they have to close that boardwalk, that trail, that road.
Okay.
But if it's alongside the road, they can usually drag it off or winch it up. They winched 8 buffalo out of the water down here because it was too close, and bringing bears with people right close.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Really appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah.
So a little lake down there.
They were afraid to crumble because they'd walk across, and you never know. Like that area right there where it has that indent, that could be a hole underneath it, and the horses would know that, and they wouldn't go through it. It made the cavalry scared to cross this. They felt like they were going to fall through all the time.
So that's why I was telling that little boy that
Yeah.
the water is just warm, it won't bother you, but if you walked on there, you might die, you might fall through it.
Go anywhere here. So unsafe.
Allow 45 minutes for leisurely stroll along the route. And where are we right now? Right there, so we can just go around the block.
Yellowstone National Park turned to the U.S. Army for help. In 1886, named Company M, 1st United States Cavalry Force Custer, Montana Territory, came to Yellowstone under the command of Captain Moses Harris. They began what would be 32 years of military presence in the park. Most of the buildings constructed during the Army era are still standing and used by the National Park Service as park headquarters.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss more Our Next Trail videos. Life in the fort. They brought their wife with them, huh?
Got everyone out here.
Think about it, back then they didn't even have any income tax. Nature stuff. Probably why the Army took care of it.
It's an interesting walk, but the map doesn't really line up, or we're having trouble figuring out where everything is. This is where they lived.
Troop barracks.
I think it's like a post office.
Ride your horse with.
It's now the credit union. Until next time, let our next trail help you find your next trail.